So it was a treescape in like the tops of it, like as if you were flying in like a helicopter, or if you had a drone. But now it's like taken me above like an icy place, with it kind of looks like if you're above like Antarctica or somewhere like that, like kind of a crater area. It's got like really, really blue waters down below. So like the
Okay.
whole mountscape is surrounding blue waters.
You you feel you've been guided towards this place?
I feel like I'm being shown a higher perspective of Earth for some reason.
Okay. Are you able to see what's around you?
Mm, the mountains, they're like snow-capped mountains.
Okay.
Um,
Would you
yeah,
say it's day or night time during this moment?
it's daytime.
Okay.
Like no one's around, but it's beautiful. Like it's really, really pretty. Um, it's almost like this is like a place of healing or meditation or something, for like it represents, like it looks a little bit, but not completely, like Tahoe area for me, which is a place that she likes to that I like to go into. Just it's one of my happy places. So I really do feel like they're taking me here to answer some questions.
Okay, we can do that. Are your team or guides around you ready to answer some of these questions today?
Yes, they're showing me like a hot spring, kind of like you would see in Icelandia or something like that, that they want me to get into to answer the questions. I think it's for like a representation to
So it's
conduct.
like a permission slip sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and get in.
Are they, yeah, I was gonna say, are they allowed to give you that permission?
Yeah, I'm already in.
Great, cool. What can you see in front once you're inside the mountain? Is there anything that stands out to you?
No, it's just like this little cavern. It's like a little icy cavern, and I'm in this hot spring, and it's kind of like this blue, green, beautiful emerald water, and this like the steam's kind of coming up. And like when I got in it, like my whole body here on the earth just became like it gave chills. Like it was just like I could tell there was a healing that happened by me
So
getting in it. So
it's like a lake bath, healing bath.
yeah.
Yeah. Are they wanting you to step forward um into the bath lake?
They are I'm in the healing waters, and they're okay to ask questions now.
Okay, I'll go ahead and ask. Yeah, so Claire wants to know, why are so many losing their family members at this time?
Yes, so you guys did talk about that earlier, but it is about the older timelines. And the older timelines are rooted in a lower dimensional frequency. And we don't say that to say it as being judgmental. We say it because that's how we see everything, is on the dimension of frequency and for the energy. Um, and so the older generation is kind of more rooted in those lower timelines, and we need those lower timelines to fall off. And so by them not being able to ascend on their journey or master the lessons that they wanted to master, that they had a choice at that moment to have their final times here on earth and to release their physical bodies so that their soul could ascend at a higher dimension. And so by doing that, they lessen the roots in those lower dimensional timelines. And then those lower dimensional timelines fall away to allow for more timelines to then stack upon the higher dimensional timelines. So there's becomes like if you look at a book, like you have to have like pages stacked on top to then have new parts of that story. So we're essentially like kind of taking out the roots in chapter one so we can add at the end of the book. And so now there's like more versions of the story that can be accessed.
Okay, is this by choice? Is this within their contract to do so? Like before they came here, did they know they were going to leave during in that time? Or
Your contracts are depending on the timeline of the collective and the individual timeline. Your contracts are kind of you have some set things that the milestones that you want to experience and on this earth, but also there is rewriting and there's like an evolution or a constant uh
like a flow,
modific
is it?
yeah, addendums,
Yeah.
let's say, added to
Okay.
contracts based on where, because like humanity as a collective guides the timelines and where you're at in the quantum. And so depending on where the humanity's at in those timelines depends on what your soul contract needs to be in that conscious exploration of those timelines.
Okay, I got you. Thank you for imparting that, sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Um, Also, Claire was wanting to ask, why do they visit us in dreams?
So the families, they stay around for a little bit, or the peering to stay around for a little bit to help you in your evolution. They work with your teammates, your like guides and your angelics, and they work with them to see where you're at and what you need for healing or understanding or to move on those lessons. And so a lot of times they visit you in dreams to reassure you for one that they're at peace and that they're at a place uh of happiness, and for two to also carry messages through as well to help you evolve from that emotion of grief. Like grief isn't something that's necessarily bad. Grief is just something that's we can get stuck in as
It's
humanity.
like it's the earthly construct, isn't it? That the humans we tend to experience that there's a loss, but there never is a loss. It's just the perception um, what do I say, is there in the in the human collective that greater understanding, you know?
Yes, yes. So it's because not all humanity believes in reincarnation, and even ones who do believe in reincarnation, it's not necessarily something that like you can still feasibly see. And so there's to a degree there's always going to be questions because you don't know, like you haven't, you can experience it only to your capabilities of understanding. And so it's a loss of that connection, of that energy, that physical connection. And so it's also an opportunity to release that you need that physical connection and that there is a greater existence of all that you can connect to that's not necessarily a physical realm. And so it's also a way for you to release the constructs of the 3D realm that everything is physical.
Okay. That's quite a mouthful there. But thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it appears to be as part of the experience as a whole as well that we wish to feel the emotion of grief, because many other races or on their planet they don't attribute that sort of experience, differently, and Earth is like one of those places where it contains that sort of experience for the soul to experience.
Yes, you're here to master all the emotions that lie on a third dimensional planet, because not all of these emotions exist on the higher dimensional realms because they're rooted in a lower frequency. And so when you're an ascended master and you've like basically like you've mastered all of the lessons within your dimension, part of the challenge is to get rooted back here on earth so that you can forget, the veil can be placed on you and you don't have a remembrance of who you are and your capabilities, and you are kind of navigating blindly. And but you've already mastered these experiences, but now you're doing it without the remembrance. And so it's almost like a master test here to experience and to experience all the ranges of emotions and to always come back to a place of unconditional love. And that is the point of it all, is to always come back to that frequency of unconditional love.
Sure. Yeah. Um, I was going to mention previously, which I hadn't done, but may I ask whom it is I am speaking to today?
This is Carrie's higher self, and she
Okay.
also she does channeling through the Octurian Collective.
Okay. Thank you, Carrie, for sharing that with us.
You're welcome.
Um, Another question was, what does aspect of self mean?
So, aspect of self is a soul spark that is a different version of you. Um, so, you come into this world and you have the players in your life that are what you would call soul family. And the soul family is from the same spark of creation that has kind of created that group of soul family. So like you have source of all, God, creator, is like the main, like the central sun, basically, let's say that. And then these little sparks come off and they're now smaller versions of the central sun, and then they break off and create little sparks, and those are all soul families from that original cluster of sparks, right? And then you can you can go back in the same way up to source. So when you have an aspect of self, it's a aspect of that spark that created this soul family that you're experiencing on earth.
Yeah,
So and
it's like sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, it's okay.
It's the fractal geometry of God itself that breaks. It's like a mirror. When you look at it, when a mirror breaks, it's like, and then those pieces fall, which are like, as you say, soul family fractals that are embedded within each other, and then it kind of breaks into sort of more smaller pieces. You know, that's like how the collective groups work.
Yes.
Like,
And so you're all from the same, right, piece of glass. But what this aspect of self is, like you're an aspect from the smaller piece that shattered that wanted to have an experience here on earth.
okay, right, I see. Um, Another question for Carrie was, what can we do to work on abundance?
On abundance, what you need to do to work for abundance is to start to really you can, a lot of people do the visualization, the of calling in Archangel Michael and having them cut any cords that have to do with lack of, like some have soul contracts through past lifetimes, some do not. Like Carrie does not have a vow that she made in a past lifetime, like as a nun or anything, is what she's being shown. Like she doesn't have any vows that she's made in past lifetimes to like have any issues, but there can be those. So you just want to like, you want to call back any contracts that you may have had from past lifetimes around that are around this, because now you're here to have a new experience, to learn different things, and that is to master the uh master the emotions and the frequencies and the energies of earth to create abundance. And that is with manifestation. You start to see what that abundance is that you feel lacking, and you want to see your life filled with that. You want to see what life is going to be embodying that, and you want to feel it, see it. That is the only outcome. And when any other like noises in your head start to talk to you like, nope, that can't be true because it hasn't been what the past has shown me, it's a way to master and overcome and to cancel that contract or that like vibration within the universe, and it is to come back to unconditional love. Of course you're unconditionally loved, and of course you deserve it all. And so now you need to come back to that place of like, okay, what's this trigger showing me? What do I need to like look at this trigger and now learn from? And then once you've learned, mastered it, that vibration goes away, and now you've opened even more of a pathway to the alignment of abundance.
Yeah, I've had trouble with that myself. Like I've done visualization of manifestation, but I've always had a sense of knowing that um, where you are, God will place you. Is like where you're supposed to be in this lifetime. Its destiny is written, before you come here. So there's, in a sense, no real necessary need to worry as to where it is you're going, because I feel that is part of the journey of the soul's expansion, is to just to allow, um, I would say, along for the ride, as it were. You flow through the energies and allow the experiences to come to you, as opposed to um, trying to bring something around. I would think that surely that manifestation technique has some similar. Or could I be wrong on that?
Yes, and what you have is a very understanding. It's a very free flowing philosophy of going through and trusting your fate.
Mm.
There is a also look at it too, which if you feel like you're lacking abundance, then are you in a state of gratitude? Is what a lot of people could say, because if you're in gratitude, then abundance would naturally just everything would be abundance in your life. You would just see it as abundance. So that's perspective as well. The only thing that is the hindrance of this choose your own ending kind of book that you're living through life is that free will. So your free will and what you attune to as what helps us guide to keep you going on your master plan of what you want to experience in this life. So your free will does actually um, attract the abundance more. Like if you start to free will put it out there in the universe of whatever it is you want to see embody in your life, that is giving us the signal, because we can't intervene without you asking. We can guide and do whatever we can, but because it's a free will planet, you have to ask us for us to really help you and intervene. So it does work like what you're saying, and you can just trust that your guides will always guide you, and you're always listening and you're always guided. And that can be one way. And it
Mm-hmm.
also can be for you asking for it as well, so that we can send you what you need to, and the universe can hear that vibration and assist you on your journey.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel for myself, um, it's like a crossroads, and it's like juggling, and it's because I'm not actually, I'm in a free flowing state, but it's like, right, the choice has to be made either left or right in this direction, and bringing that manifestation around through, as you said earlier, through those constructs, as it were.
Yes.
Um, because then that feels like I'm in an empty space, but it's, yeah. But
Yeah. And so in that empty space, whatever intention you have, whether it be good, bad, or whatever the intention, that energy in that empty space is neutral. And so the choice that you have to make is, how are you going to drive that energy?
okay. Yeah, thank you for answering that question for us.
You're welcome.
Um, Next question is, What can we do to connect with the galactic beings at this time?
Yes, so the time is now for to humanity, if they choose to use their free will, to have connection with us. We are able to we now have more of an authority to come in and have interaction because more and more people are asking for that, using their free will to ask for that interaction. So, what you can do and why the meditation practices work so well is because you're connecting and creating that, you're taking away the interference of that channel and clearing out that space so you can contact us. So, you can set the intention to have connection with us, contact us, and we will start to, as your intention puts that vibration within the universe, you'll then have the reverberation back where you'll start to see more of us. You'll start to understand. You might even be able to channel our information because we do send a lot of information to you guys, and we can have that connection through that way.
Um, does Carrie is Carrie ready, or is she already aware of having contact experience at this time, or does she need to develop that over the course of time?
She's aware and she is very connected, and she, because that's a predominant of her collective, is that she does have a little bit of the like homesick feeling sometimes, and like she wants to go back home and hang out with us. And she
Mm-hmm.
also knows her.
I got that from
Yeah,
speaking.
yeah. But she also knows that like there are timelines with her being on the ship. So that's why when she visualizes it feels so real, is because she knows that there are timelines where she is with us and cruising around. So um, because time doesn't exist, it's kind of
Yeah.
it's already happened. So she's tapping into that.
Um, is what's what sort of collective of beings is she working with, or
She works with all collectives that work with the Octurians. And yeah, so she's like whatever people need her for, or beings need her for, I guess, is that she's like, they're not people. Um, and like she loves to help in whatever way. Like she loves to learn new things and experience new things. And because different collectives have different things that they're in charge of. So she likes to learn it all. So she's like an explorer in a way, and you know, she doesn't just have to stick with her kind, I guess.
okay, has she got a particular guide as an actor in that she works closely with?
Yes, we're showing her the guide that she knows that she's seen. He's the guide has imprinted symbols in her before, like through telepathy. And yeah, we're showing her that guide.
Does he have a name? Or I mean, I shouldn't really say because they don't really refer themselves as names as we do. Um,
No, it
per
has a
se.
frequency.
Yeah. Um, so Carrie's um like a bridge, I would say, to help others to realize who they are, and um, preparing them for when their time comes to have these contact experiences. Is that correct?
Yeah, yeah, because she doesn't, there's no judgment when it comes from her. Like it's not outlandish.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what helps her, is that she's an acceptance of her role in this world. And she really doesn't care who, she doesn't want to do harm to anyone, but she doesn't care about anyone's judgment about it. So, um,
She
you
sees the reality of things, as it were.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that was one of her lessons she had to master, is to be an observer and be a neutral or a positive observer instead of a negative and judgmental observer,
Mm.
because it's very easy in those given those observational skills to be judgmental. And so once she became to a place of unconditional love and acceptance for herself, then that observation mode was able to be neutral and positive instead of negative and judgmental.
Yeah, 'cause that space allows for more abundance, as it were. Allow this. It opens up the channels to receive more and um, experience what it is that Carrie needs to experience, but in a more open flowing state, as it were.
Yes.
Okay. Um, any messages for humanity at this time?
Yes. So the message for humanity is to believe in magic, to uh, to quiet the mind. So those 3D constructs of beliefs that you've been all taught to, it was to create an outcome based on past experiences. Like you would kind of, it was a predictive programming in a way, based on past experiences for the future that you wanted to have and experience. But now is the time where to become heart and mind focused, centered,
Mhm.
aligned, and connected with us so that you can release those old constructs, release those old rooted beliefs, and now believe in magic. And in that magic and in that possibility of all things existing, you're able to create and align with well, you're not creating because the creation is already there, everything exists. You're aligning with the beauty and the magic of this world and all that we are ascending to. And so we really want humanity to remember the magic in this world and to remember how it feels to laugh and what is that makes you laugh and be happy and be in joy, and to start using those as goals instead of the aligning with the monetary or the third dimensional things in this world.
Yeah, because a lot of it's like I've come to the awareness that through the heart, it's the is lies truth is the answers that people so daily seek is once they're aligned, not from their minds but in their hearts. That's where magic really occurs. Is um, it speaks truth beyond words, and yeah, um, like you say, the collective sort of needs to hear that now and begin to sort of gradually embody that truth of who they are.
Yes. And at the end of it, you guys are all unconditional love beings. You guys are unconditionally loved, and you have the capability to have unconditional love for self and others. And so
Mm,
it's naturally something that's able to flow through you, but you're here to master those emotions and to get to align to that place. So anything that you do that feels in alignment with that, do that. I'm not saying you're not going to have bad days. Those bad days are there because they're teachers.
mm,
And but in those bad days, acknowledge that whatever's going on. And the more and more you align with unconditional love, the more and more you can sit with those feelings and those emotions and what's going on through your day, and you can sit with them and be okay with them being in your space
mm.
because
Accept. Sorry, go on.
yeah, you're appreciating and saying gratitude for the teacher of that emotion.
Mm. It's the body is like a compass, and it just shows you like a gauge to um, allow it to reveal what is um, either needing to be released or accepted with gratitude and whatnot.
Yes. So just that's the main message, is just to remember all of those things, and that you're loved, and you're supported, and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, all is well. um, we have one last question. Would be Claire would like to know, uh, just as of lately, why she's not attached to earthly activities and the consumption of the um, earthly sort of parts of what we do from day to day. The attachment to those items and as such.
Yeah, it's the same thing as why people are passing, is it's just releasing from those lower timelines. And it's like kind of a transitional stage to allow for the higher timeline things to occur. So, I mean, it can feel like limbo. It can feel, in those moments like, what am I, what am I going to do with my day? But that's what she says.
Yeah,
and,
what was
but
yeah.
it's a transitional time. So like in anything that you're alchemizing, like you're just clearing and releasing the densities rooted in that lower density to allow and to align for the higher dimensional things.
Yeah, I feel it gives more space for gratitude for the present moment as well when you don't attribute those things to being a part of yourself. It's like they tend to fall and fade, and that true sense of self starts to come around, and it's like, it's what do I say? He begins to show who you really are and the world around you for what it really is.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, thank you for answering Claire's questions today. I appreciate you coming here and um, answering those questions for us.
You're welcome.
Um, is there anything Claire uh, would would like to know at this time, or is there any particular sort of healing um, that needs to occur at this time for her?
No, at this time, she's doing good. She's in alignment. And we just encourage her to continue connecting with us in her non-relaxed state, like in her normal being, and just continue to watch for the answers and feel for the answers that we give her.
Cool. Um, is there anyone else who would particularly like to come forward, or is it just Claire's higher self at this time?
That's it for today.
Okay. Well, thank you for um, being with us and sharing these messages with us, for us and humanity, and appreciate your time. And yes, thank you for being here.
Yes, you're very welcome.